Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Sean from Sean's Drum Lesson. Today I'm going to give you guys 5 tips to make you a better jazz drummer. The tips I'm going to tell you today are something that you can immediately add into your playing. It's not something that's going to take weeks or months to try. It's something that you can immediately add in. It's more like a way to think about your jazz playing and how to make it better. The tips that I'm going to tell you today are going to be related to straight ahead jazz playing. This is more like the mid to late 40s all the way into the late 50s. Just like every other style of music, there's so many subgenres within that genre. So in this video, the jazz that I'm going to be talking about is more straight ahead swing jazz playing. So let's get into it. The first tip I'm going to tell you guys is ride cymbal. All right, so there's a few different things to talk about when it comes to the ride cymbal. When I see a lot of less experienced drummers play jazz, a lot of times they'll throw in some weird accents in their ride cymbal pattern. So they might be accenting the and of 2 and the and of 4, or they might accent 1 and 3 or something like that. And that's something you don't want to do at all. If anything, you want to put a little bit of an emphasis on 2 and 4. And that's pretty much it. So I'm going to go ahead and play for you guys some bad examples, and then I'm going to show you the example that you kind of want to stick to when playing straight ahead jazz. All right, cool. So here we go. Tip number 2 is going to be a strong hi-hat sound. So when you play straight ahead jazz, typically you step on the hi-hat on 2 and 4. And a lot of times when I watch less experienced drummers, they might step on the hi-hat like kind of loosely, and it's not as strong of a chick sound. So what you might want to do is check out your hi-hat, see if you need to make some adjustments to make a stronger chick sound happen. Typically it's going to be in your foot though. All you got to do is just step a little harder on 2 and 4, and that should do the trick for you. Another thing about the hi-hat is you want to link that up perfectly with 2 and 4 in the ride cymbal. So the coordination between your right hand and your left foot is so crucial when it comes to swinging and making that groove sound good. That's the thing about jazz playing, is the groove is in the right hand and the left foot. All that other stuff kind of comes later. Next tip for better jazz drumming is going to be, don't crash on 1 all the time. This is so important because crashing on 1 really is more of like a rock pop type sound. There's obviously going to be some crashes on 1 when you play jazz, but typically the crashes are going to happen more on the anticipated crashes, which are like the and of 4 or something like that. Typically the and of 4 is something you do a lot in jazz. I would say 70-ish% of the time you're going to be crashing more on the and of 4 rather than crashing on 1. So the fourth tip is going to be stop over comping. Right? So basically in jazz drumming, what you're going to play a lot is comping patterns, which is what you do on the snare drum and bass drum. And comping, for those of you who don't really know what that is as much, is it comes from the word accompany, which accompany, obviously, you're kind of, in this situation, you're playing with somebody. And in jazz, obviously, there's a lot of solos going around. So the comping is supposed to complement the soloist, or it could also complement the rest of your rhythm section in the band. So when I watch a lot of less experienced drummers, they'll just completely zone out and just play random stuff on the snare drum that, yeah, it kind of works. It might be rhythmically correct, but you can tell that they're just kind of noodling on the snare drum. So what I want you to think about is really make sure that every single comping rhythm that you add in there, it's more placed. You're thinking about it. You're being conscious of it. You're not just throwing it in there just to throw in there. And this next tip will kind of feed into getting better comping. So here's the last tip. The 5th tip for being a better jazz drummer is listen to the masters. That's what it comes down to. And in terms of the mid-40s to late 50s kind of swing jazz drumming period, you really have to do your research and study these masters. I'm going to give you 4 masters that you really need to check out if you haven't already. One is Philly Joe Jones. Second is Kenny Clarke. Third is Max Roach. And last but not least, Art Blakey. Those guys were the masters right there. So check them out in that 50s period. It's going to be a little easier to get recordings from the 50s. Check out their swing ride cymbal sound. Check out how they comp. Obviously, you can check out more than that in terms of soloing. But really, really dissect their playing and check them out. And really, one thing that you will hear in all of their playing, one thing that they were all good at is, again, the 5 tips that I kind of told you today. So check that out. I hope you all liked this video. Please give me a like and subscribe if you can. That would be awesome. Definitely more videos to come. And if you have any questions or comments that you want to add, definitely throw it in the comment section. That'd be awesome. Cool, guys. Appreciate it. See you next time.